Okay. So can you see my PowerPoint? Is it visible to you? Yes?
Yes, miss. Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
miss.
So thank you. Thank you for confirming. So we are going to begin with chapter 4, which is factoring the polynomials. So what we are going to study in this is about how do we make factors of the polynomials by using the method of like greatest common factor or by grouping, and how do we factor the trinomials and how we factor the spatial products. We'll see how much we can do today. Okay, so let's start. So greatest common factor. I think you know about it. Greatest common factor. We studied in chapter 1. What is the greatest common factor for two numbers? For instance, I gave you a number, say 2 and 6, and we have to find the greatest common factor. So 2, you can write it as 2 and 1. Sorry. 2, you can write 2 and 1. So, whereas 6, like you have 2, you can write it as 2 and 1. 6, you can write 2 times 3. So the greatest common factor will be like 2 is 2 times 1. 6 is equal to 2 times 3. So the greatest common factor will be this 2. Okay. So we did this with the numbers earlier. Now we are going to do with the variable also. Means in short, we can say we are going to do this with the polynomials. So if you look at this, like how you will have the questions. Suppose you have three terms, 21x power 3, 9x power 2, and 15x. You have to find the greatest common factor. In short, we are going to call it as GCF for these three terms. So what we will do, we will write all these three terms as a product of prime factors. So for that, what you have to do, 21. Which are two numbers which on multiplication gives you 21? 3 and 7. Okay. X power 3 is x multiplied 3 times. So you can write 21 as 3 times 7 and x power 3 as 3 times x. Okay. Then 9x power 2. So 9 we can write it as 3 times 3. So we will write this 3 below the 3. And since there is no other 3, so we write it separate. And x power 2 is x multiplied x. The same thing we are going to do with 15. So 15x, we can write 15 as 3 times 5. So it is 3 times 5 and x. Okay. So the greatest common factor from the numbers, it's 3. From the variable, it's x. So greatest common factor is 3x. The process is exactly similar to what we did for numbers. I hope you remember that. Do you remember this?
Yes. Yes.
Or is this clear? How do we get 3x?
Yes. Clear.
Okay. So let's now solve some question. So you have to find the greatest common factor for this term. So let's start with question number 1. Okay, these are from your book. So let's see how we do it. So we have 10 PQ Q. So how you can write 10? Which two numbers on multiply gives you 10?
2
Yes,
and 5.
2
2
and
and
5.
5.
2 and 5. 2 5.
Correct. So you can write 2 times 5. And p power 3, it means you have p 3 times p times p times p. And q only one time. Okay. Now, we move to 12. Second term is 12 p q square. So which two numbers gives you 12?
6 2.
Yes, 6 and 2. Can we further split 6?
2, 3.
2 and 3. So we get the factors as 2 times, now we don't have this. So what we will do, like let me write here, 2 times 3 times 2, and then what you have, P one time, okay. Okay, let me write it in this way so that it will be easier for us. Like, I'll leave some space here for the numbers. Okay, so 2 times 5, and I'll leave the space. I'll write P 3 times, and then Q. So now we can write 12 as 2 times 2 times 3. So 2 times 3. We have P, so we write 1P below this P, and then Q power 2. So Q and Q. So now we have to find the greatest common factor. So greatest common factor will be, so when you take here this 2, okay, from here we take P, and from here we take Q. So your greatest common factor will be 2PQ. Okay, so this is how you find the greatest common factor. I hope it's clear.
Miss
Let again, okay. Can I take another question so that it will be clear more? Let me take this question number 3. Okay, 12.
Okay,
See, which are two numbers you can write 12 as? 2 multiply which number?
2 and 6.
Yes, 2 and 6. Now, you know that 6 you can write further as multiplication of two numbers.
2 and
2
3.
and 3. So in place of 12, now you will write 2 multiply 3. So I'm doing question number 3. 12 m square n cube. So I'll write in place of 12. 2 multiply 3. We have to make the factors as a prime numbers, okay? Then look at the number, say here, m power 2, m power 2. It means m multiply m, correct? Because then only you can write 1 plus 1, 2. Similarly, n power 3 means n multiply 3 times. Because then only you can write 1 plus 1 plus 1. Correct? That is 3. So for m power 2, you write 2 times m. For n power 3, you can write 3 times n. 1, 2, 3. Is this step clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, Miss.
So what we did is for 12, we are writing these numbers. 2, 2, and 3. M power 2 means m and m. N power 3 means n 3 times. Now we will do the same thing with the second term, which is 30 m power 5 n power 3. So now you have to work for this 30. So which are two numbers that gives you 30 when you multiply?
6 and 5.
6 and 5, correct. So can you write further 6 as product of two prime numbers?
6 and 2.
2 and
6 and
3.
3.
2 and 3. Okay, good. So now for 30, you can write 2 multiply 3 multiply 5.
5.
So below 2, you write 2. And this 3 means you have to write the number below each other, like same number, right below them. So 3 you write below 3, and here you write 5. There is no other 5. Okay. Now m power 5. M power 5 means you multiply m 5 times. Okay, so you have to write like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure that you are writing it below. Okay, and then n power 3 means n writing 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Is this step clear to everyone?
Yes, miss.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Thank you for confirming. So now we find the greatest common factor. So we take, if we have same number up and down. So here we have 2. It's on the same line. So we write 2 as the greatest common factor. We do have 3. So we write 3 as the greatest common factor. Now you have two m's here. So you take this m, 1 and 2. And how many n's are there? 1, 2, and 3. So n, n, n. So this gives you 2 times 3 is 6. How many m? 2. So m power 2. How many n's? 3. So this is your greatest common factor. Is this question clear?
Yes, miss.
If anyone is having any doubt, please ask me. I'll explain another one if you want. So I have to assume silence means it's clear, huh? Okay, let's do 4 together. So note that in question number 4, you have 3 terms. 1, 2, and 3. 3 terms in it. Okay, so you can write 35 x power 3 y square. You have 10 x power 4 y. And then you have 5 x power 5 y power 3. So let's work with the numbers first. 35. How you can write 35? Two
5 and
numbers, which on
7.
multiplication? Yes,
5 and
correct.
7.
5 and 7. Good. What about 10?
5 and 2.
5 and 2. And it's 5, so it's 5 and 1. So let's work with this. So in place of 35, you write 5 times 7. Okay, let's work with numbers first. For 10, you will write 5 times 2. Don't write it below 7, okay? And for 5, it's only 5. So what we did here first is, we did for numbers. We made the factors for numbers. This is how you did earlier for the numbers in chapter number 1. Okay, now let's move to the numbers. Numbers x power 3. So you have x power 3. It means x multiplied 3 times. X1, 2, and 3. Here you have x 4 times. So multiply x 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here x power 5. So write x 4 times. 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're done with x. Okay. Next is to work with y. So how you will work with y? You have y power 2. So it means y multiply y. Here you have only y. So write it below. Here y power 3. So y, and y 3 times. Now find the greatest common factor. Is this step clear to everyone?
Yes, yes.
Girls, check if something is
Yes.
not clear. Okay, good. So when we are writing greatest common factor, we write when we have the same number in all three parts. So here we have 5. So we write down 5. Okay. We have this x here. in the same line. We also have this x here, and we have this x also here. Okay, we have here 1y. This y we have in two terms only. The third one we don't have, so we don't take it. Okay, so our greatest common factor become 5. How many x are there? 3. So we write x power 3 and then y. This is your greatest common factor. Clear?
Yeah.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Okay, thank you for confirming. Now I want you to solve question number 5 and tell me your answer. I'm giving you, say, 2 minutes to it. And these lecture notes I will send you by email. So don't worry, I'll share the slides with you. So even if you don't write it, it's fine. Or you can take the screenshots to refer it later.
I will send it. The chat.
Okay, you sent it already?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see the answer. So this. So we need the answer for 5. 27 e squared q cube 45 p cube q 4 9 p4 q cube. I need greatest common factor. So I want all of you to solve it on pen and paper. Okay, and then take a photo, post it in the chat. Omar, check your answer again. Is it so difficult? So the answer should be for 27, you can write it as 9 times 3. 45, you can write 9 times 5. And here, 9.
The answer will be
9.
9b square.
Yes, correct. I'm getting the answer now. 9p square and then
Q
3.
times 3. Yes.
Correct. I got answer from Anwar and Omar only. What about other students? Nine p square q. This will be the answer, okay? Because 27 you can write it as 9 times 3. 45 you can write 9 times 5 and you have 9 as 9. So this gives you 9. If you look at here, p power 2, p power 3, p power 4. So p power 2 is the lowest one. And here q power 3 and q power 4. So q power 3 will come. So work out in the same way as we did question number 1, 3 and 4. Okay. So let's now move to the next. Next is how do you find the greatest common factor from a polynomial? Now, what is the difference between this question and this question? Here, you have two different terms because these are separated by a comma. Okay. Means you say that these are expressions. But here, what you have given a polynomial and they'll ask you to find the greatest common factor from each polynomial. So here also, the process of doing is same, but the way how we write it will be different. Okay, so let's see how to do it. Okay, let's see. Question number 6. This is a polynomial 12x power 3 minus 10x. Okay, before I start solving this, can you tell me this is polynomial? This is what? Monomial, binomial, or trinomial? Yes? Can anyone?
Again, miss.
What is the type
Monomial
of
one
the
term.
polynomial?
Uh,
Type. Yeah,
Binomial
type.
to theorem.
Okay, so this question number 6 is what?
Binomial to theorem.
Yeah,
Binomial.
it's binomial. Okay, good. And this 11,
Trinomial.
trinomial. Good. Okay. Do you remember the degree? Can you tell me the degree of question number 6? What is the degree? What is the degree of this term? X power 3.
3.
Okay, 3. For 10x.
1.
So what is the degree of polynomial?
3 plus 1.
No. It's 3. You take the maximum number. Which number is maximum? So degree is 3. Okay. I'm just checking how much you have prepared for the midterm. Let's do this one also. X power 3. What's the degree?
3.
3. For this term, what is the degree?
2.
And for 20x, what's the degree?
1.
1.
1. So the degree of this polynomial will be
3.
3. Good. I got the answers. I'm getting answers even in chat. Good. So now I'll move to this one. Yeah, 11th. What is degree of this term?
3.
3.
3. Yes. X power 1 y square. And here,
4.
here,
3.
3.
3. So the degree of this polynomial will be
4.
4. Good. So good. You prepared for your midterm. Okay, I'll erase this thing because you don't need this thing here. Okay, so let's move to our topic that we have to find the greatest common factor. So greatest common factor for this, but how we will work on is in the same way how we did for the previous question. So let's write down question number 6. You have 12x power 3 minus 10x. So what you will do, you will find the greatest common factor for both the terms. Like you write 12x cube and 10x as we did before. So 12x cube, how you can write? 12 you can write as 2 times 6 and 6 will be 2 times 3. Okay? And 10. 10 how you can write? 2 times 5. Correct? It's the same thing how we were
Yes,
doing
sir.
before. Yes. So for x power 3, we write x times x times x, 3 times x. And here, x. So what is the greatest common factor? It is, from here, you get 2. Then you have x. So your greatest common factor is 2x. Okay. Now, what is different here? You have this greatest common factor. So let's rewrite our question. We have 12x power 3 minus 10x. So we can write it as 2x multiplied by some number. So we have to find out what is that. Okay, so to find that out, what we will do? Now, if 2 and x gone from 12x cube, what we are left with? We left with 2 multiply 3 and x multiply x. So you will write this thing here. 2 multiply 3 is what? 2 multiply 3, 6. And
Six.
x power 2. Okay? Because this 2 and x gone from it, so you left with 6x power 2. Minus, because here you have minus. Same way, from here 2 and x is x gone. So what you left with? 5.
Five.
So you write here 5. So this is how you do the factorization for a polynomial. You get it?
Yes.
So exactly up to here, everything same. This is the additional step. What we did, we write this greatest common factor here and we write what are the terms left in both of these terms if we take 2x outside. Let's do one more question to make it more clear. Which one you think it's difficult? 7 or 8?
8.
8. Let's take 8. So what it says, 8m power 2 minus 40m plus 16. So let's write 8m power 2. Take the factors. We have to make the factors of 40m and also for 16. Okay, 8. How you can write 8? See, you know here what you can do? You can use
One,
little bit
four.
of shortcut like, because you know that 8 is a factor in 40 and 16. So here you can make the factors in terms of what you say 8. Like instead of making it as what you say prime factors, you can write like, because you can write 40 as 8 into 5 and you can write 16 as 8 into 2. And you already have 8. So you can get directly 8 as a common factor. So you can write here as 8, same. For 40, you can write 8 times 5. And 16, you can write 8 times 2. Okay? if you are doing it correctly. If you still have problem, what you can do, you can write 8 as 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, did you get me what I'm trying to tell you? Did you
Yeah.
understand why I write
Yes.
here 8? I'm just trying to give you a shortcut. Okay, now here you have m power 2, so you can write 2 times m. You have 1m and there no m. So the greatest common factor will be, you
8.
will have 8. Only 8. Okay. So now come back to your question. 8m squared minus 40m plus 16. So you can write 8 as a common factor, and then you have to check which terms you are left with. So in the first one, you left with m. In the second, 5m. And in the third, you left with 2. Correct? So this gives you from first one, m power 2. Keep the same sign. Here it's minus, so write minus. 5m. Here it's plus, so use plus 2. Clear?
Yes.
Yes, Miss.
Okay. So what you can do is you can check always whether you did it correct or not. Because if you multiply, say 8m square minus 5m plus 2. If you multiply 8 with all these numbers like distributive property, you should get the same question. So you will get 8m square minus 5 times 8, 40m plus 8 times 2, 16. That's the same. So it means this is your correct answer. Okay. Now, moving to the next. Like, do you want to solve me to solve any other question? 9, 10, 11. Anyone from it? Maybe 11? What do you say?
Okay.
11.
Okay, let's
Yes.
take 11. Let's do 11. So, 11. You have 12xy square plus 18x square y square minus 30y power 3. So first term is 12x y square. Next term is 18x square y square. And then 30y power 3. So first work with the numbers. Okay, we look for 12, 18 and 30. How you can write 12? 12 is 6 times
6.
2. 18. Check. Can you write 6 times something as 18?
3.
3. Good. For 30, can you still write 6 times something?
5.
5. So in this case, as you can write each 3 of the numbers as 6 multiply another number, you can keep it in 6. Like you don't need to further make factors of 6 as 3 into 2. Okay? Or let me just make 6. How you can write 6? 2 and 3. Correct? 2 and 3. 2 and 3 to avoid confusion, because you may think that in previous question we write the factors of 12 as 2, 3 and 2. So why we are not doing it here? You will learn this trick that I am saying after you practice a lot of questions. So in place of 12, we write 2, 3 and 2. So 2 times 3. In place of 6, 2 times 3. 2, 3 and 3. And for 30, 2, 3, and 5. 2, 3, and 5. Okay, now move to x. You have only one x, you write here. For x power 2, it means x in x. And there is no x, so nothing here. Moving to y power 2, means y times y. Here again y power 2, y times y. Here y power 3, y, y, 3 times. Now you will find greatest common factor. Look at it and tell me what you think you should get. I can see this 2 common. 3, y. That's it?
Y.
One more y. Okay, so your greatest common factor is 2 times 3 times y times y. So you have 2 times 3, 6, y power 2. This is greatest common factor. Okay, now this is not completed yet. So let's see how we can rewrite this. So we can rewrite this question 11 as 6y square. Sorry. You can write it as 6y square. And then we have to check what left from each of the term. So from first, you left with 2 and x. 2x. Then we have plus. From here, you left with 3, x, x, 2x. So 3 into x power 2. In between the sign is minus. You left with 5. Clear? This is your answer. Is this clear? No response.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay. Don't tell me you slept, huh? It's a class. I just gave you privilege to attend it from home. So don't feel like you are just lying down on the bed and just mobile is just on your side table. Hmm? Please pay attention. I'll see if I can conduct the next class also online. Okay. Okay.
Okay, miss.
Moving to next is factor by grouping. So in this case, what we are going to do, we are going to group the terms with common factors, and then we will find out the common factors, and then we check how to check your answer. So for instance, suppose you have this question, xy plus 3y plus 2x plus 6. So if you look at first two terms, what do you think is common in both? Do you think anything common in first two terms? You see here y and here y. So can I say y is common? I mean, can I write it as y and then here x plus 3? Yes?
Yes, yes.
Because if you find the greatest common factor of xy and 3y, what you will get? Xy is x into y. 3y is y into 3. So the greatest common factor is y. So xy plus 3y. you can write it as y as a common factor. So what you left with? X plus 3. Okay, so this is what I did here. Okay, and it's same as x plus 3 times y, which is by commutative property. You studied in chapter 1. Okay, similarly, what is the greatest common factor for 2x and 6? So how you can do 2x? You can write 2 times x. 6. How you can write 6? 2 times? Yes, 2 multiply. Which number give you 6?
3.
3.
3.
Good. So greatest common factor is 2. So what you can do is 2x plus 6. You can write it as 2x plus 3. Like this. Okay, so you can write it as 2x plus 3. Now, if you look at these two terms, here you have x plus 3 and here also you have x plus 3. So you can take this x plus 3 as a common factor, or you can say that x plus 3 is the greatest common factor for these terms. So one x plus 3 is gone. You left with y here plus 2. So this is the factorization of this term by grouping. Okay, so what we are doing it here, again, like we take terms in part, find the greatest common factor, and then once we see a common term, we write that as a common factor. Let's solve another question to understand it more better. So, like you have these questions from 18 to 26, again from your exercise. Do you want me to start with a specific question?
18.
18, okay. Let's start with 18. So you have AB plus 5A plus 3B plus 15. So we make the group of the terms. We group first two term and we group second two term. Okay, so let me write down 18. AB plus 5A plus 3B plus 15. Okay, so now look at it. A, B, if we look at these two terms, what do you think is same? A and A, correct? So we write A outside. So what we left in the first term? Tell me.
B plus 5.
Plus
B
5.
plus 5. Yes, correct. Good. Now in the second term, you have 3B plus 15. 15. How you can write 15? 3 times which number?
3, 5.
3 and 5. Good. So can I take out here a number common? Like say, what I can take out common? 3.
3 plus 3.
If I take 3 outside, what I left for here?
B plus 5.
B and here 5. Are you getting me? So this will give you B plus 5. In between these two terms, the sign is positive. Now, if you look at it, what do you see? B plus 5 and B plus 5. This bracket is same. So you make it B plus 5. So if you take this B plus 5 as a common factor, you left here with A plus, and here you left with 3. So this is how you make factors for this term by grouping. Clear? So what we did, first we find the greatest common factor for these two terms, which is A. and then greatest common factor for these two terms, which is 3. So we took that greatest common factor outside and we make the grouping, and then this is how we proceed. Okay. Let's try, say this question number 20 to check if it is clear or not. So you have terms uv minus 18 minus 9u plus 2v. So we make groups. Okay, two terms. So let me try to do it in another way. I believe that you will find easier. So if you have uv, how you can write it as u times v? Wait a minute. Will it going to work? Is this grouping going to helpful? We have to check that thing. Because we want to group the things that give us the common factor. So if you look at uv, here you have only variable. And if you check here 18, it's only the number. It's not going to give you anything common in these two terms. So we have to pair it with either 9u or 2v. Okay? So let's pair it with, say, 9u. So uv minus 9u, we are just rearranging the term, plus 2v minus 18. I'm writing this 18 at the end, taking out from here. Okay? So now we group these two terms and these two terms. Tell me what I can take common from these two terms. uv minus 9u. U
U.
times v. Yes, good. So it is u. Then we left with v minus 9 plus. And from these two terms, 18, you know that you can write 2 times 9. So what you can take common? 2. So you take 2 common and you left with v minus 9. So now this total v minus 9, v minus 9, it's same. Take it as a common factor. Then what you left with? U plus 2. Okay, so this is how you work with grouping. You want me to answer any other question also? Yes, any question from 21 to 26 that you feel it's difficult?
No, it's clear.
Yeah? Okay. So let's move to the next. Next is making the factor by using like this concept. See, in the previous topic, you studied in chapter 3 how to multiply two polynomials, right? So when you are multiplying, what you are doing, you are multiplying x with x with 3, and this 2 with x and 2 with 3, right? And this is how you get. Now you have to make the factorization. So it means what you have to do, you will be given this x squared plus 5x plus 6. You have to write it as a product of these two brackets. Okay? So let's understand this with the help of example. How do we work with it? Before I go there, do you know how to get this x squared plus 5x plus 6 as x plus 2 and x plus 3? X squared plus 5x plus 6. You have to write it as product of two brackets. Okay, now since you have x power 2, so you will write x here. Now, as both the signs are positive, so it should be plus. Okay, now you are looking for the numbers that will come here. So how do you find those two numbers? You are looking for two numbers whose product is 6, and when you add them, you get 5. So what are two numbers which on multiply give you 6? How you get 6? 6 multiply 1, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
2 multiply
2,
3.
3. Yes.
3.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Can I say minus 6 multiply minus 1?
Yes.
Yes, you.
Yes, because minus minus become plus. Can I say minus 2 multiply minus 3?
Yes.
Yes. Now, we have to check out of these four, what answer will come here, what will fit in. So to check, you should get, when you add these two numbers, 5 and with the positive sign because you have plus 5. So check 6 plus 1. How much it is?
7.
7.
So,
Yeah. So this is not your option. 2 plus 3. How much
5.
it is? 5. You
5.
need here 5. Correct? Let's see if we get something else. Minus 6 minus 1. It gives you minus 7.
7.
Minus 2 minus 3 gives you minus 5. So we needed only 5. So our answer is 2 and 3. So here it will be 2 and here it will be 3. Is this clear?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, miss.
Okay, good. Now I want to check if I have x squared minus 5x plus 6. What it will be like here. Note that here you have minus. So here it will be x for sure. Now you have to check these two numbers. So you are looking for the numbers which on multiply give you 6, and when you add them, you should get minus 5. Can you tell me the numbers?
Minus 2 and 3.
Good. Minus 2 and minus 3. Because we have to do the same process. Minus 2 minus 3, when you multiply, you get 6. But you, in this case, you need minus 5. So these are the numbers. Okay, good. Then I think this is going to be easy for it. So let's start with question number. Okay, let's start from the beginning. 1. So which two numbers on multiply gives you 30?
6, 4.
6
5.
and 5.
5.
6 and 5. So check 6 plus 5 is how much? Okay, let me write down. Let me do it in a proper way so that you do it correctly in exam. Okay, so you need product as 30 and sum as 11. So it will be as per the rule, since here P, so P and P. Both are plus, so it's plus and plus. So you need 30. 30 you can write it as, yes, 6 and 5. So to check, 6 plus 5 is how much? 11.
11.
So yeah,
11.
it's working. So it's direct. Okay. Here, 21. What are the two numbers? How you get 21? Which two numbers you
3,
multiply?
7.
3 and 7. To check if these are the same number, 3 plus 7 is 10. Okay,
10.
perfect. So two brackets and it's W plus 3 plus 7. 48. Which two numbers gives you 48? Don't use calculator.
8
It is
multiply
4.
6.
8 multiply
6.
6. I think they made a mistake here. I think it should not be 19 here. Should be something else. Should be 16. By mistake, they have written 19. Okay, so note this correction. This is wrong. Not 19, it should be 16. Okay, so let's leave this question since they did mistake. Okay, let's do question number 6. X squared minus 8x plus 7. So you have to write it as product of two brackets, x and x. You need two numbers which on multiply give you 7. And when you add them, this is on multiply or product. And when you add them, you should get minus 8. So tell me, what are the numbers?
-1 and -7.
Very good. So 7, you can write it as 7 times 1 and minus 7 times minus 1. So 7 plus 1 gives you 8, which you don't need. Minus 7 and minus 1 gives you minus 8, which you need. So it is minus 1 and minus 7. Good. Let's do question number 4 also, because here it's 1 is minus, 1 is plus. X squared minus 8x plus 12. X. You need two numbers which on multiply gives you 12. Yes, what are those two numbers?
-6 or -2.
Minus 6 times minus 2. Okay, so this gives you 12. And then you have minus 6 minus 2 gives you minus 8. Good. So you can look at other options which are not working. So 6 plus 2 gives you 8. And then you also have 4 and 3. But 4 plus 3 gives you 7. You can also use minus 4 minus 3. But that gives you minus 7. These are the options. Okay. You also have 12 and 1. Right? 12, you can write it as 12 times 1. But that gives you 12 plus 1, that is 30. So your correct option is this one. Minus 6 minus 2. Okay? You will use this if you have x squared minus 13x plus 12. So if you have this, in this case, you have to use this factor. X minus 12, x minus 1. Clear? Any question?
No.
Now you understand
No,
well,
we
huh?
understand.
Okay, good. Let's do one of the question. Which one you want to pick? See, what they do usually, they write like, suppose it is written like this. Don't think it's complicated. You just need to rearrange the terms. Write the power 2 term first, like first write it as p power 2. Then write the term with p. So 5, there is no sign, it means it's positive, minus 6. And then start working. Okay, then start making factors. Same thing here. Make it x squared minus 10x minus 11. And then make factors. Even here, means you have to rearrange the terms first before starting factoring. Okay, like it's the same question, but they just put the terms in a different way, like they rearrange. So which one you want to do? Someone is coming now. Okay. What happened? Let me see. Why some students are attending now? How many I have? Good, I have 41. Good. So let's do this one. I'm waiting for you. Do it. So I'm waiting for you to do it.
Minus 11 and
Mm-hmm.
plus
You're
1.
solving, you are doing which question? Question 11?
Yes.
Okay, good. Tell me. X. What is it?
Minus 11
Mm-hmm.
and plus 1.
Very good. So here in this question number 11, we are looking for two numbers which on multiply gives you minus 11. So what are those two numbers? We know that we get 11 when we multiply 11 with 1, no other factors. But as we need minus sign, it means 1 should be negative. Either 11 multiply minus 1 or minus 11 multiply with 1. Now we have to check out of these two, which one work with us. So if we do 11 minus 1 gives you 10. And if I do minus 11 plus 1, it gives me minus 10. What I need here? Minus 10. So this will work. So your numbers are minus 11 and 1. So these are the factors, okay? Similarly here, you need to look for, in question number 10, two numbers which on multiplication gives you minus 12. So you get minus. See, you need the number in minus. It means one of the number should be plus, one of the number should be minus. So you can write it as minus 12 times 1 or 12 times minus 1. How else you get 12? 6 multiply minus 2 or minus 6 multiply 2. We do have other option, 4 times minus 3 and minus 4 times 3. But out of these, how do we select which we have to pick? We have to add them. So if we add minus 12 plus 1, how much you are getting? Minus 11. And this is what you need. So, okay, this is your answer. So you write it as x minus 12, x plus 1. Okay, so this is how you work. Because if you do for the other questions, you get here 11. You don't need it. 6 minus 2, 4. You don't need it. Minus 6 plus 2, minus 4. It will not work. 4 minus 3, 1. It will not work. Minus 4 plus 3, that is minus 1. Again, it's not going to work. So you have only the first option. Okay, so this is how you make the factors of the trinomials. Okay, I hope it is clear. Anyone is having any question?
No.
Okay, if it is clear, then it's good. Okay, so this is about 4.2. Let me see what else you have. So in 4.2, what other kind of questions you may get is like, suppose you have to make factors of, like, because here what you are working with one variable only. You have either x or p, okay, or n, only one variable. What if you have two variables? See, if you have to make factors of r squared minus 8rs minus 9s square. Okay, suppose you have like this. So what you are going to do in this case? Here you see two variables r and s. So the thing that you have to note that when you see two variables, it means here you will have two variables, one rs, here also r and s. Now we have to check either we are going to have number with rs or not, okay? And also we have to check with the sign. So what you will do in this case? In the same way, we look for two numbers which on multiplication give you minus 9. This is the product that you need. Okay, and you want them to add up to minus 8. So how you get minus 9? The options are minus 9 into 1, 9 into minus 1, 3 into minus 3, right? These are the only options that we have. To check, minus 9 plus 1 gives you minus 8. 9 minus 1 gives you 8. 3 minus 3 gives you 0. So what you need? You need sum to be minus 8. So this is your answer. So what you are having the factors? Minus 9 and 1. So what you are going to do? You are going to write minus 9 here and plus 1 here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, miss.
Yes, miss.
Okay, so you have to do it in the same way. Okay, we did it in the same way, but what is the difference? You are having R and S. So you write R and S. Then we check the number goes where. Okay, see it for a minute. Let me take another question. Question number 14 from your exercise 4.2 on page 79. So this question is say p square minus 2pq minus 35q square. So again, you see here two variables p and q. So you will write here in the bracket p, q, p, q. Now we will look for the numbers. Two numbers which are multiply. This is the product. And minus 2 will be the sum. So how you get minus 35? You get, yes. Can you tell me how you get minus 35?
Minus 7 multiplied 5.
Minus 7 multiply 5. Because for 35 you have 7 and 5. Okay, or you can write 7 times minus 5. You can also write 35 times minus 1 or minus 35 into 1. You can always pair up any number with 1. But you have to check which one is working for you. So minus 7 plus 5 gives you minus 2. Yes, this is what we needed. So it worked. So you will write minus 7 plus 5. These are the factors. Okay. I hope it is clear.
Yes,
Yes.
miss.
Okay, good. Another way, this is the last for today, and then we'll stop for today. If you have the questions in the form ax square plus bx plus c, okay, in the previous question, what you were having, you are not having any coefficient with the first term, right? You are having the coefficient only with the second term. But what if you have here the coefficient with the x also? Like suppose you have 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. Then how do you work in this case? Okay, so to do this, we will use like in your book, they call it as factor using AC method. Okay, this is what they call it. So what you have to do in this case is find the factors like, let me write down these steps. In step 1, you have to find A multiply C. Okay, then step 2, you look for the numbers m and n such that m plus n is A multiply C. Sorry, m, sorry, m plus n is B, and when you multiply m and n, you get AC. Okay, so let's see here. Can you tell me if I compare this question with ax square plus bx plus c? What is a and what is b and what is c? Yes, can you tell me what is the value of a?
6.
A 6, okay. B
7.
7,
7, good.
C.
A
2.
6,
2,
from here, the coefficients B7 and C is 2. Okay, so you have to find AC. A multiply C, that is 6 multiply 2. How much it is? 12. Then, what you have to do next? You have to first find AC. Then you are looking for two numbers, which on multiplication means. Sum of the two numbers is 7, and when you add them, sorry, you're looking for two numbers, m and n, such that m multiply n is 12 and m plus n is 7. That is equal to b. So can you tell me how I can write 12? Simply 6 times 2 or 3 times 4. So if I do 6 plus 2, I get 8. And if we add 3 and 4, we get 7. We need 7. So your m is 3, n is 4. So what you are going to do here is, see this is a bit longer method. 6x squared plus 7x plus 2. So you got 7 as here 3 and 4. So you will write 7x as 3x plus x. Okay, so you get your this question revised as 6x square plus 3x plus 4x plus 2. Now make the grouping. Remember, we started grouping here. What is the greatest common factor here? 3x. You left with 2 plus, sorry, x 2x plus 1. And here you can take the greatest common factor as 2x and this. So you left with 2x plus 1, 3x plus 2. No problem, we'll do it again in the next class, okay? Let me stop here because I think it's too much for you today. So let me stop here today, okay? And it's already 1:30, 2:30, sorry. So let's stop it. Okay, what I want is, I want to take attendance. I'm just going to take now. Okay, stop sharing. I just need your time. Okay, before I stop the section for today, I need to know what
Miss,
is, yes?
Miss, can you put a class online in Thursday?
That's what I'm going to ask. Like, can I keep the online class? Because, but I don't want to keep it on Thursday because you already have your